Got all kinds of ads out about this, one of which we'll play in just a second. But can this be the hot button issue they want it to be?
It's not an issue that broadly affects the population, but it is a hot button. It's maybe the one or two issues that I hear about when I'm traveling outside of Washington and people are talking to me about what issues they're paying attention to. And if you watch college football, these ads are running, especially in those states. And those states are those races are the ones that the NRSC, the Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee, are looking at to be the majority maker. And so you're seeing ads on this issue play very heavily, especially on college athletics. College football, we'll see that as basketball starts to ramp up as well, because it's an issue that voters are responding to.
On Fox News, there is a voice of reason. Watch.
I don't think it's a pivotal issue at all. When you go further into the Wall Street Journal editorial, they even point out that the ad is inaccurate and not based in reality. What it said was these senators voted not to prevent money going to local schools during the American Recovery Act when we were climbing out of COVID. So that's what those senators voted for. I also point out 1.3% of high school kids identify as transgender, 1.2% of college kids. This is a non-issue that we've made a political issue, and what we should be focused on is how do we help those 1.25% of kids that struggle and are trying to come out and live a happy life. I can walk down the street as a straight white man and I have no problem in society. I don't think any one of these kids woke up and said, you know what, my life is going to be a lot easier if I become transgender. I think what we need to do is figure out what's the solution.
This man, as his Chiron states, is a former comms director for Joe Manchin. I got to be honest, I am blown away. I am blown away that they didn't cut him off. I am blown away that they didn't go straight to commercial break. They allowed him to say this on issues that none other than Fox News has pushed with a litany of people who work for their network in the country, of course. From the Jesse Waterses to the Judge Jeanine Pirros to having on anti-trans bigots to Sean Hannity, Will Cain. I mean, take your pick here. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, I already said. Brian Kilmeade, Tyrus. I mean, literally take your pick. And suddenly, at this hour, there is a glimmer, but a very small glimmer when it comes to this issue, that they actually have someone on who they are not trying to stop from spewing truthfulness on the matter. According to the UCLA School of Law, there are 1.6 million people in the United States who identify as trans. Okay. Per census.gov, there are roughly 337,270,000 and over 200 people. It's fluctuating in the country. Okay. To understand how small of a percentage of American society identifies as trans, and to really have a firm grasp of who largely, predominantly conservative lawmakers are targeting for political clout. Among youth ages 13 to 17, it's 1.4%, or about 300,000 who identify as trans, out of over 337,270,200 people in the country. The total number of high school students to even go with that 300,000 is at 17.3 million, roughly. So not only are you attacking people who are not in the majority, I don't even know if I would call this the minority. This is a sliver of American society, no matter which subject matter you go across. No matter which topical point of view you would like to discuss when it comes to American life. It is a smallest of smallest amounts. On the topic of trans inclusion in sports, Human Rights Campaign wrote, trans girls are not new, and they're not taking over girls' sports. In fact, trans youth are a small part of the overall population in schools, and only about half of trans youth identify as girls. Opponents don't seem as interested in trans boys. That's also another topic for another day. Who they assume will not be able to compete with cis boys, a sexist assumption. Just like other youth have varying interest in playing sports, just like other youth. will have varying degrees of physical ability and attributes that may/may not lend themselves to success in the sport of their choice. Just like all other youth will have varying degrees of seriousness and commitment to sports. Exactly. I have also seen videos of trans girls who just want to play for fun, or they just want to play to meet people and make friends and have a sense of community, because that is absolutely what we are built upon, is interpersonal relationships and a sense of community, a sense of belonging. A lot of these people who do participate in sports at the high school level are not going to go play at the NCAA level. Or if they do, they will not be going to the pros. They'll just be competing because they love it, which says something. It really does. About how so many conservatives say they don't want their politics in sports, but they love the politicization of it when it comes to trans issues, or Colin Kaepernick, or LeBron James, or, just an athlete using their platform overall. Depending on who it is, of course. They'd add anti-trans sports bans risk further marginalizing young people who already face tremendous challenges in school. Proponents of these bans suggest that trans athletes are pretending to be trans in order to do well at sports, ignoring entirely the incredible stigma trans youth face. See, that is key as well. There is no evidence to point towards how a person is pretending to be a woman or a man in order to get playing time or in order to beat up on the lesser. It doesn't exist. There is no statistical evidence for this. They tried doing it with Imani Khalif. They even tried doing it somehow with Katie Ledecky. And of course, as we know, those claims are untrue and put a target on those respective athletes' backs in the Olympics. They also give some credence into how this culture war has taken on a life of its own for, in my view, political power. 20 states, the International Olympic Committee, and the NCAA have allowed trans athletes to play sports for decades with no problems, is the headline we see, which is quite revealing, isn't it? Because there are so many bad faith actors, whether it is in politics, it is in media, what have you, who say that they believe, there should be stricter laws and, this is such a new thing, when it's not a new thing. They just saw over the years how they needed a group of people to blame, because that is what happens over the years in politics. It could be black people, it could be gay people, it could be Jewish people, et cetera, et cetera. And when that runs its course and society becomes more accepting of that group of people, those with way too much political power then shift. And they have found it. That is where we are at today. If there was truly an existential issue with trans athletes competing in sports, these bodies would be taking more specific steps to address it. Exactly. What we're actually seeing is the opposite. Legislators using trans youth as a culture war talking point are attempting to put into place bans that nobody is asking for. The NCAA's recent change to remove non-discrimination protections from its constitution and defer to IOC guidelines was a political decision that abdicates their responsibility to protect student athletes, but it does not meaningfully change the current state of play. Trans students can play sports with specific requirements in place for each sport. Exactly. And by the way, I do not believe that inclusive language is a huge problem. I also don't think that this is a problem. It is a drummed up controversy in order for a certain political party and its aficionados to retain as much political clout as they possibly can, while simultaneously making an enemy out of their fellow Americans.